morning. I'm Michael Kovnat, and this is the Next Big Idea Daily, your shortcut to the smartest new nonfiction, one big idea at a time. Make sure you're following the show on your favorite platform, and if you like it, please leave us a rating and review. Now, here's the puzzle. The headlines say the economy is booming, unemployment is low, and growth is strong. But most Americans feel like they're falling behind, working harder every year just to stay in place. So who's right, the statistics or the people? Gene Ludwig is the former controller of the currency under President Clinton and founder of the Ludwig Institute for Shared Economic Prosperity, which strives to develop better economic indicators. His new book, The Mismeasurement of America, argues that the stats themselves are misleading and steering policymakers to make disastrous decisions. Gene joins us to share some of his big ideas right after this quick break.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
At Blinds.com, it's not just about window treatments. It's about you, your style, your space, your way. Whether you DIY or want the pros to handle it all, you'll have the confidence of knowing it's done right. From free expert design help to our 100% satisfaction guarantee, everything we do is made to fit your life and your windows. Because at Blinds.com, the only thing we treat better than windows is you. Visit Blinds.com now for up to 50% off with minimum purchase plus a professional measure at no cost. Rules and restrictions apply.
Americans keep hearing that the economy is strong, unemployment is low, wages are rising, growth is steady. But for millions of families, those headlines feel like a cruel joke. The cost of rent, groceries, and health care keep climbing, while steady, well-paid work remains out of reach. The disconnect isn't just perception. It's baked into the way we measure economic success. Hello, I'm Gene Ludwig, former controller of the currency and founder of the Ludwig Institute for Shared Economic Prosperity, or LISEP. Our mission is to uncover the truths that official statistics too often obscure and give policymakers and citizens a clearer view of how low and moderate income Americans are really faring. In my new book, The Mismeasurement of America, I detail the findings from our research. What follows are 5 key insights from that research, each one challenging those sunny headlines and pointing toward a more honest understanding of our economy. Insight number 1. We are at an economic tipping point. Throughout history, a government's failure to fully appreciate the realities faced by its people has led to crisis. Without realizing it, America may well be on the brink of such economic and societal unrest. The unrest that led to the French Revolution and the economic imbalances preceding the Great Depression are both cases in point. In the late 18th century, the oppressive economic situation facing the French people went unacknowledged by the royal family for decades. The French ruling class considered the truth about the nation's fiscal crisis to be nefarious, a threat to their power. Marie Antoinette, when told the peasants had no bread, replied, "Let them eat cake." Whether or not that remark is literal or legend, it captures the ruling class's indifference. Soon after, the revolution erupted, bringing turmoil and suffering to French citizens of every rank and station. The same narrative arc applied a century and a half later as the Great Depression loomed. Now, in both instances, economic data that could have set off alarm bells was available, more accurate figures that would have revealed the risks emerging, and this perspective might have prompted action that could have softened the blow. if not avoided the crisis altogether. But the data was either confusing, confounded with other contrary data, or affirmatively hidden, and the effects were catastrophic. Insight number 2. A quarter of Americans are functionally unemployed. The unemployment statistics the government releases monthly are misleading. If someone is looking for full-time employment but finds nothing except a single hour of work in a week, they are considered employed. For purposes of the official government statistics, this 1-hour employee is in the same category as someone secure in a full-time job. Both meet the government's basic threshold for employment. This logic extends to wages. Someone who works full or part-time for a salary that falls below the poverty line, around $25,000 a year for a 3-person household, is classified the same way as someone earning $1 million every month. Lysip's research team and I considered anyone in the previous 2 situations to be functionally unemployed. The government's most recent unemployment rate is 4.3%, but our research finds that 24.7% of American workers are functionally unemployed. Insight number 3. When it comes to pay statistics, the part-time and unemployed job seekers are ignored. The government reports on median wages every quarter. The idea behind their metric is simple and straightforward. If you line up all full-time employees in order of their weekly earnings, the person directly in the middle earns the median wage. But this statistic only considers the wages of people who are currently employed full-time, overlooking millions of part-time workers and unemployed job seekers. So the moment a low-wage factory worker receives a pink slip, her salary is deleted from the sample altogether. The moment a farm worker's seasonal employment ends, his salary is simply deleted. What this means is the official earnings measure shows an overstated wage that doesn't reflect the reality for many low and middle income Americans. It can even appear to improve during economic downturns because low-wage workers are disproportionately affected by layoffs. For example, as the economy went into near freefall during the early months of the COVID-19 pandemic, government-reported median earnings rose 7%. During that same period, the percentage of Americans who were functionally unemployed rose from 25.7% to 32.8%. Insight number 4. Yes, your groceries are more expensive. When people talk about inflation, they're usually referring to changes in the Consumer Price Index, or CPI. The CPI tracks the prices of some 80,000 goods and services, from apples to apartments, baby formula to boats, and much more. The idea is that it gives us a single measure to measure the changing costs of a basket of all consumer goods. But this basket is so wide-ranging, it doesn't reflect how ordinary consumers experience cost of living changes, because most Americans are not buying 80,000 things. If, for example, the costs of second homes tripled while everything else in the basket stayed flat, the average American household wouldn't feel a thing. The price hike would get averaged in, but it wouldn't impact their life. But the opposite is true. Over the past 2 decades, the price of jewelry has risen by 39%, while essential goods like bread are up over 112%, and ground beef by 155%. When these items are measured alongside each other in the CPI, the relative stability of luxury items actually masks the inflation faced by Americans of more modest means. From 2001 to 2023, the CPI points to a 72% rise in living costs. Yet our analysis of essential expenses, housing, food, transportation, healthcare, and other basics, shows those everyday costs climb 97%. Put simply, because the CPI includes so much that doesn't matter to working-class Americans, it obscures their true cost of living rather than revealing it. Insight number 5. We need better statistics. As I hope has been made clear, the headline statistics we currently employ to understand America's economy are profoundly misleading. But why does all this matter? In business, it's almost axiomatic that what you measure is what you get. The mismeasurement found in our headline statistics matters because it drives policy. The Consumer Price Index, for example, is pivotal in determining Social Security benefits as well as who qualifies for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, Head Start, and Pell Grants. And at least 12 states and Washington, D.C. use the CPI to determine their minimum wage. Our failure to produce statistics that accurately reflect the nation's economic reality makes it much harder to shape highly effective policy responses and harder to identify the tipping point of economic and social unrest. Simply put, when you aim at the wrong target, you miss. Flaws in widely accepted economic statistics impede important decision-making. In many cases, those who accept economic misrepresentations do so for reasons that are entirely benign. The data is too difficult to collect with sufficient regularity or precision. The samples aren't sufficiently comprehensive. Human nature favors expeditious, rosy analysis rather than the rigor required to glean accuracy, particularly when accurate numbers may be gloomy. At LISIP, we've developed alternatives to those imperfect statistics. Our true rate of unemployment metric includes the functionally unemployed. Our true weekly earnings measure includes the entire workforce. Our true living cost index narrows the basket of indexed consumer goods to those truly essential to the average American, while our minimal quality of life index measures what it costs to not just get by, but to actually have an opportunity to climb the economic ladder. Finally, our shared economic prosperity measure tracks how the country's economic growth translates into opportunity for all. For decades, policymakers and leaders have judged success or failure by distorted standards, and ordinary Americans have paid the price. Unless we change the headline statistics to reflect the reality Americans actually feel, we will keep steering down the wrong paths.
Thank you, Gene. All right, everyone, get a copy of The Mismeasurement of America using the link in the episode notes. That's our show for the day. If you got something out of it, please leave us a rating or review in your podcast player so others can find it too. And if you're not already a member of the Next Big Idea Club, now would be a great time to join. We just selected Brené Brown's new book, Strong Ground, as our pick for the season. That means if you join, you'll get a signed copy of the book, an invitation to a private Q&A with Brené, and a regular pipeline of exciting nonfiction sent right to your door. So go to nextbigideaclub.com and use the code DAILY for a special discount. I'm Michael Kovnat. See you tomorrow.